Okay, good morning. So before I start this video, I want to give you guys basically a brief explanation of what alopecia areata is and what you're going to see in this video, and pretty much you know what I'm doing. First off, this whole video, I won't show the whole head because my client, it's a sensitive time for him. He's a young cat, so this just happened to him. So we're basically going to focus on the back of the head. It's basically a sudden loss of hair in a select area. It usually happens on the scalp, and it's almost always sudden, which basically means it happens rapidly, without notice, without change. Without notice or without symptoms, right? So basically what it is it's when your immune system attacks your hair follicles. When basically they're destroying and killing them. So your immune system is attacking itself. Like I said, it usually happens under stress when you have a lot going on, sudden change in your life, just death in the family, loss of a job, things like that. As I was talking to my client about it, he wasn't, at first when we was consulting about it, he didn't actually realize how much stress he had on him until he actually spoke on it. So then after he started speaking, he was like, wow, dang, I haven't really been under stress. So it can happen under stress. It's not, it doesn't care about age, it just happens. The good news is that it's almost always, your hair almost always comes back. The bad news is there is no cure for it. There are treatments, usually a steroid shot in the area of which the alopecia occurred. They're circular patches of baldness. They can happen in big chunks, little chunks. It's usually multiple in the area that overlap. I'm not going to get rid of his alopecia. I'm not God, I'm not a magician, but I will do my best to blend it and fade it in, which I believe that if you take your time, you can definitely do. Without enhancements, it'll be natural. I notice a lot of times with clients that have alopecia, or just people in general, the quickest it usually scares the barber or it scares the client, so they just like, let me just shave their area bald. When, depending on where it's actually located, you can actually save the hair. Save that area or save the fade. So he did have some pretty severe, he had one severe patch and one smaller patch, and they happened right up below the occipital bone. So I was like, he asked me what could you do about it. I told him I'm pretty sure I can fade it in. Which is what I'm going to show you guys and how to fade that in so that you can give the client confidence and keep them comfortable until it grows back. The good news is he's had this for about 2 or 3 weeks, and he's starting to have little small patches of his hair that grows in. He did it the natural way, but that's pretty much what it is and what you guys will be seeing. And the biggest thing is you want to make sure to always stay calm and just use your techniques. But I'll get into that in the video. Hope you guys enjoy. Make sure you like and subscribe. Okay, so welcome back to the video. Let's get right into it. You already saw the intro. So yeah, pretty severe patch right there of alopecia. It's in an awkward area. It's kind of on the corner where I would do the edge up, but I still have enough hair to edge. And if you look, it looks pretty dramatic until I start to fade it in. Well, it is dramatic, but I'll show you guys ways to just make that all transition to a smooth taper. Through my barber career, I've been a barber for like 9 to 10 years. I've noticed that a lot of things just come with time and patience and proper fading techniques. And just sometimes thinking outside the box and being creative. Sometimes you have to be creative in situations like this because, like I said, the hardest thing to tell a client is, I can't do it, or you have to do this. I want to give everybody the option they would prefer first, I noticed that gives confidence and it builds, self-esteem in a sense. A haircut is a very vital part of a person's self-image. So let's get to it. First, I'm using my 1 guard on my magic clip. On my Wall Seniors, very simple clipper, to just cut the hair down to a 1. I still want to go against the grain. I don't want to scalp them. It's not that serious. So first, I'm going to see what I can do with the 1 with the grain. A lot of this stuff, when you have situations like this, is trial and error. I want to see what I can do first. I want to give you the best option first before I take drastic measures. All right. So you guys can watch me cut it down. And then after I cut it down, that's my Slimline Pro. I'm still doing a taper and I'm making my primary line, but what I'm doing with this situation, rather than me typically doing, is I'm making that primary line a little bit higher. The reason I make that primary line a little bit higher is because I want to make this taper more dramatic in that area. So that way I don't have too much space in between the primary line and that alopecia area, because the more hair that I have to fade in, the more you can notice it. So I want to make that taper high without making it too high. But I also want to blend it in as well to keep it nice and smooth. so after I have the hair ball, what I'm going to do now is make my secondary line. I'm using my seniors, because the seniors has a very strong blade and it cuts out quite a bit of hair. It has I believe it has a surgical blade on it, which basically the blade is flat on the back, no curvature, so that way it cuts lower and more precise. So what I'm going to do is almost make that secondary line almost all the way until I take that alopecia out. I want to lighten that area up with the alopecia. So that horizon line right there that you can see from my secondary line is right along where the alopecia kind of stops. What I'm going to do is try to fade that out, because that primary line, that secondary line that I'm fading right there, that section is going to be the lightest part of this taper. So I want to make sure that alopecia is faded out as much as possible, because like I said, the majority of that space is really bald with no hair follicles at all. So I have to transition it very well. So what I'm going to do is taper like normal, but when I get to the alopecia area, you're going to see a lot of corner cuts and a lot of me fading that bald section in to the rest of the taper. So it's kind of like I'm two tapers in this area. I'm fading in primarily, and I'm also fading in that alopecia. So I'll let you guys watch. I just wanted to explain what I was doing. As you can also see, I'm stretching the skin. So you guys watch and I'll be back soon. So now I'm going to basically debulk with my 1.5. I would like I typically would, but the difference is now I'm debulking a little higher. Like I said, debulking is not so much cutting the hair down, more is thinning the hair out. And that's exactly what I want to do. I want to make sure I thin that section out, because like I said, it's bald there, So I have to make sure to accommodate that area with lightness. I'm going to debulk higher, but not so high to where it looks like he has a taper all the way to the top of his head. I want to debulk just enough to lighten the area so that when I come back and fade, it'll transition with it. So now I'm kind of typically debulking. I guess it's a similar form of debulking as well with my 1 on my seniors. And as you can see, I'm really attacking the area where the alopecia grows. Like I said, my secondary line was taken up to the edge of where the alopecia stops. Now I want to attack that whole area. I'm pretty much going to do the same tape on the other side, but I'm just focusing on this because this is where the problem lies. Alright, so a lot of combing, a lot of patience, because this situation is not a fast situation. I can't rush this taper. Take my time and focus on the areas. If you do your techniques right and take your time, I promise you will get the results that you desire. Okay? Alright, so I'm still attacking and debulking that area. I'm lightening up. You see, it's lightening up quite a bit. Alright? So after debulking, I'm going to come with my Andes Masters. See, I'm using the corner of the blade because I'm focusing on the select area. Every few strokes I comb, all right? I'm basically hitting the area where the circle baldness appears. I want to really attack that area. At the end of this taper, you won't be able to tell, but the area where the alopecia is going to be a little bit lighter than the rest of the fade because I had to attack it. But along with it being lighter, I also attacked it to fade that light area in as well. It's all about smooth transition. The art of blending is very important. Like, this cut really tests my skills. That's why I love this cut. Sometimes adversity pushes you to your best point. You think you may have peaked, but you have never peaked, because there's always going to be obstacles that push you to be greater than you ever thought you could, okay? So even right here, I'm using the corner of my blade. I'm using the corner. And I know in the comments you guys are going to talk about my 116 missing teeth. All right, congratulations. Now back to it. All right, so I'm stretching the skin. So when I stretch the skin, I widen my workspace so I can hit that area with more precision. It's like if I'm editing a picture or a video, I'll zoom in to focus on a select section, makes my pixels bigger so I can take off more, when really the workspace is just getting bigger. All right, so I'm basically still debulking again. This is going to be a lot of work in progression, just fading, transitioning between a lot of different guards. So I'm going to let you guys watch, pretty much study. I pretty much explained the most part of it. I'll be back when it's time to edge up, okay? Okay, so after making the other side pretty much match, it's time to edge the back of the head up. So the back of the nape of the neck. So typically, I like my rule in all my other videos, which I'm going to have to contradict right now, is I love to leave that back edge up as far out as possible. You guys can see the difference right there on the table. But in this situation, the more hairy around that alopecia area, the more defined the alopecia is. So I'll probably take it in a little bit more than I typically would, just to make it blend properly. Like I said, it's a rare occurrence that I would ever take it in that much, which I still didn't take it in too much. But I want to make that area, nice and flush. I don't want it to stand out. That's pretty much it. Next I'm about to put a hot rag on there to lay the hair down. I'm still fading a few different techniques, and I'm doing a few different things. So I'm going to come back and hit certain areas to make it nice and smooth. So next, after matching both sides, we're going to come back with the warm rag, lay his hair down, so that way you can get the full effect of what it looks like when his hair is laid down. Soften those hair follicles up, massage the head a little bit, help stimulate some growth. Okay, let's see what we got under here. Let's see how it look. Okay, all right. So I really hope you guys enjoy it. I really hope this helps some people out that have alopecia. You can show your barber maybe, or some barbers who might come into the situation. I really hope it helped. Hope you guys like, subscribe, enjoy. Game Changer out.